brought us to this country as a labor force. We built a foundation and they hate us for it. They hate us for it. We built a foundation and they ain't pay us for it. They ain't pay us for it, but they gon' pay for it. Already prayed for it. Non-believers didn't pray for us. Non-believers didn't pray for us. We're black and we built a foundation. Stone by stone, generation to generation. Vultures said we had no culture. Them vultures got a Jay-Z poster. Them vultures got a lacy culture. Vultures eat what they didn't kill. Vultures sleep what they didn't build. They brought us to this country as a labor force. We built a foundation and they hate us for it. We built a foundation and they ain't pay us for it. They ain't pay for it, but they gon' pay for it. Already paid for it. Nobody prayed for it. Nobody didn't pray for us. Nobody didn't pray for us. We're black and we built a foundation. Stone by stone, generation to generation. Vultures said we had no culture. And vultures got a Jay-Z poster. Them vultures got a lacy poster.
For of a rapper. What's her name? Mona Leo? I think that's her name. And somebody called in talking about her the other day. Now, this sister, I forgot which city she's from, but she did a video. She did a song called, was it Sexy Salon? Something like that. It was, I know it was Salon something. It was, I think it was Sexy Salon. Now, Salon, that's a term that our brother Marak and a couple other brothers who are in here, they've created that term, and it means the same thing as foundational Black American. It's the same thing. And that's actually a very good thing that we use different terms to describe the same thing. Strategically, that's a very smart thing to do, ladies and gentlemen. We should have the ability to use different terms to describe the same thing. Yeah? Because when you do that, that prevents targeted suppression of a single term. See, if you have a Renaissance movement and it just relies on one label, that's cool, but sometimes it can be easier for the media, tech platforms, political groups to try to target, censor, or do some algorithmic suppression of that term. So a lot of times, multiple interchangeable terms, sometimes that allows the movement to evade some type of digital censorship if it happens. And also, it kind of protects to a certain degree from too much co-opting and too much delusion. Like the dominant society, they try to co-opt a term. Having multiple alternatives, that allows the community to kind of pivot quickly and preserve the original message. So the ability to switch terms when need be in certain settings, that's the linguistic self-defense mechanism. So we've got to learn how to be very smart and strategic with the words we use. Like foundational Black American, Solon, descendant of slaves, freedmen, these are all the same terms. I mean, it means all the same thing. It's supposed to mean the same thing. It all means the same thing. It means people who are from non-immigrant backgrounds. And the thing is, in different settings, like if you're in a court setting, and we're talking about certain tangibles, we would use the term freedman, because there's already a legal federal precedent for that term. We already have the Freedmen's Bureau. So we would use that term so that the white supremacists won't circle back and say, hey, you're making a program based on race. No, 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 no. We're making a program based on status, Freedmen. You understand? When we're talking about culture, we use the term foundation of Black America in just general everyday cultural conversations. That's when we use that term. But the point is, we have to know how to interchange the terms when need be. That's a good thing. See, when you expand the terms, it resonates with different people different ways. You know, like an older person might not know what salon mean, but they'll know what freedman mean. Oh, freedman, okay, I know what that is. So they can relate to that. So sometimes different labels help different audiences connect with the message. You understand what I'm saying? And also, you better be able to use different terms, and these terms mean the same thing, and you keep the terms up, or you keep the spirit of what the terms mean. You keep that in the lexicon, because somebody might create a term or popularize a term or put a term out there, and then that term gets co-opted. And if everybody's just sticking to that one term and it's been co-opted, the whole shit goes to hell. That's what almost happened with ADOS.
In city after city in America, entire neighborhoods were made or unmade by decisions on paper. Lines drawn on maps, rules and manuals, plans signed in desks that never saw the people who would live with the consequences. This is a story of how public policy, federal, state, and local, folded into private markets to build the American ghetto because they take everything out of the community and put nothing back. We were asked to leave in March. March 31st was the deadline. The house is still standing. They boarded off. Programs meant to stabilize housing and expand ownership also carried a racial map. Welcome to how the government made the ghetto. The modern American housing system, mortgages, suburbanization, home ownership as the path to wealth grew during the New Deal and the era immediately afterward. But the architecture of that system carried a racial map. When the Homeowners Loan Corporation and later the Federal Housing Administration stepped in to underwrite mortgages, they created risk maps, red, yellow, blue, green, that categorize neighborhoods, often on the basis of race. Uncle Sam created color-coded maps that told banks where they could give out housing loans. The green sections were a goal, whereas the red sections typically where black people lived. These maps, though created decades ago, still shape opportunity today. Neighborhoods marked as hazardous struggle to attract investment and accumulate wealth across generations. The FHA's underwriting guidance explicitly counseled against infiltration of neighborhoods by inharmonious racial groups and recommended racially restrictive covenants as a way to protect lending value. Through these formal and informal channels, the housing market was partitioned along race lines. Government tools that made suburban home ownership possible for millions of white families were withheld from Black Americans, concentrating poverty, reducing the ability to accumulate home equity, and creating spatial segregation across generations. Try to stabilize the housing market. The Fair Housing Act is passed in 1934, and as part of that, the Homeowners Loan Corporation is also established. Insured mortgage is brought within the reach of all citizens on a monthly payment. It takes a lot of risk off the banks. It places it onto the federal government. And now working-class, middle-class families, they're able to purchase a home. Unfortunately, as part of that, what the HOLC does is it establishes designations for neighborhoods based on the occupants of those neighborhoods. The result wasn't just segregated neighborhoods, it was segregated wealth. From the 1940s through the 1970s, City and federal officials pursued urban renewal projects, often described as clearing slums, creating highways, or redeveloping downtowns, but in practice, they disproportionately targeted majority black neighborhoods. That's Highway 40, and it was built on top of this thriving community in the 1950s and 60s. The construction of this highway completely disrupted this community. This process was what was known as urban renewal, and it was very racist. It was something called urban renewal. In Philadelphia, 50,000 people, mostly black, have been moved, uprooted, and displaced. Families and friends broken up. Thought urban renewal meant the tearing down of slums. So she painted and scrubbed, swept, and repaired their neighborhood. For this, they received the Clean Block Award from the city, and then the university expansion program swept them away. The physical demolition stripped capital and community, leaving behind empty lots, broken social networks, and neighborhoods that never recovered. Perhaps nothing embodied the literal cutting up of black neighborhoods like the interstate highway system. Routes were often routed through the least politically powerful areas, frequently redland, black neighborhoods uprooting homes and commerce. Once neighborhoods were graded or bisected, bankers and appraisers treated them as high risk. Credit dried up, investment fled, tax bases shrank. The physical and economic decline fed stereotypes about criminality and pathology, which then justified further divestment. Behind every redlined block, every bulldozed street, every federal policy, there were human lives. Families who lost more than property. They lost the promise of accumulation, stability, and home. Home ownership is the leading source of intergenerational wealth in the US. When an entire community is excluded, the wealth gap widens in Michigan or New York. As poverty concentrated, so did policing and punitive institutions. The overlay of zoning, policing policy, and later mass incarceration turned spatial segregation into social control. Ghetto isn't just a place of poverty, it becomes a place of policing. There is no clean severance between housing policy and criminal justice policy. They are intertwined. In one block, you see the sweep of policy, redlining maps, no loans, highways slicing the square, business corridors gone, tax base gone, youth prospects changed. Yet you also see community institutions that survive the church, the barbershop, the corner store. In recent years, governments and communities have begun to recognize the damage, from federal studies to pilot programs that seek to reconnect communities cut by highways, to invest in affordable housing, to prioritize local business corridors. Repair is possible, but it requires undoing decades of built-in advantage and built-in exclusion. Remedies include reparative housing policies, equitable transit projects, anti-displacement protections, and investments in education and health. But these collide with market forces and political resistance. The question, can we move from intention to impact? The choice is not between progress or stagnation. The choice is between acknowledging responsibility or continuing the story of neglect. The story of the ghetto is not only a story of harm, it's a story of agency, resistance, and transformation. The future depends on choices we make now. Where to invest, how to design our cities, who gets a seat at the table. If segregation was engineered, then integrated, thriving communities can be too. The ghetto was not an accident of culture or of poverty alone. It was built in policies, in asphalt, in mortgages, by choices that governments made. Knowing that changes the story from inevitability to responsibility. If we made it, we can unmake it. The question now, will we, of penalizing one section of the country but that the same standard that applies in Florida should apply in North Carolina, or should apply in Michigan, or New York, or any other today. Hopefully, lineage Black Americans can find this information useful. All support goes to $UnbiasedRON.
Deed theft, where homeowners are essentially tricked out of their properties, has been a pervasive problem for a few years now. And now this group is rallying outside the governor's office, demanding that she do something about it.
My father and I worked really hard. We scraped and we saved and we purchased our home legally and legitimately.
Rachel Cyprian was shaking mad as she spoke with us outside the governor's office about the devastating impact of her 15-year fight to reclaim ownership of her Brooklyn home following deed theft.
It leads to homelessness. It leads to depression. It leads to all sorts of failures. Here we are, Black people, in this country now for over 400 years, and we're constantly starting from square one.
Deed theft is when a property's title is transferred away from the rightful owner, generally due to deceptive or predatory tactics. Frequently, the targets are seniors and communities of color.
What do we want? Deed theft. When do we want it?
Now, Brooklyn City Councilman Chio Say is pressing the governor to put a moratorium on evictions where there's a deed theft case pending or being investigated.
We are pleading to the governor, to the head of the state, to do right by all of us, to do right by Black New Yorkers, and to do your job.
During the moratorium, Chio Say and other elected leaders are demanding legislative fixes, like more support for homeowners in eviction court, special investigative units inside district attorneys' offices, a public database of shell companies associated with deed theft, and more. In response, a spokeswoman for the governor's office did not mention an immediate moratorium, but said the governor has taken a number of steps to push back against deed theft. Quote, "No New Yorker should be cheated out of the opportunity to keep their home," which is why Governor Hochul has proposed $40 million in her state budget for the Homeowner Protection Program, and why she has led the way in enacting strong protections to empower homeowners and crack down on illegal deed theft. But advocates
illegal deed theft. Look, in every part of life in America, illegal is supposedly looked down upon, or should be looked down upon, until that is applied to FBA lifestyles, our living. Now, all of a sudden, illegal activities are no longer illegal. They need to be researched, reparations. They need to be expanded, rights to votes and things like that. When it comes to us, when something is illegal and it applies to us illegally, that doesn't matter no more. But everybody else, we got to protect them. So you seen how she looked, but you think this woman right here is going to draft up something to protect Foundation Black Americans' homes, keeping their homes. You think this woman got it in her heart to do something that protects foundational Black Americans? I say hell to the nizzle. All right. But the reason why I want to play this, because when people look at us today and attack us, you don't have this, you don't have that. I'm showing you the history of why we don't have the things that we had before. We had them before. So when they say, you FBAs, you ain't got this, you ain't got that, you ain't got this organization, you need to ask them back. Why? What happened? Did we have it before? Did we sell it? Did we trash it? Did we demolish it? What happened to it? Over and over and over and over. Okay, so let me go ahead and play the video, because the one guy said something very, very interesting when debating Tariq and Nasheed. He said this, and I always felt like this was the case. Okay, hold on. So it wasn't this guy. It was a guy from yesterday. He said this, and it caught my ear.
But I was wondering, how does it feel that anyone who wants to build wealth in America, they realize the key to success? Everyone has realized this, but the people who follow you.
What do you mean?
The proximity to whiteness and the distance from you guys is the key to success in America.
family, that was something deep what he said. Okay. Getting away from Foundation Black America, he said was the key to success. We already said that. So when we say when these immigrants come over here, they're not trying to link up with us. Like, yo, we're kidding ourselves. Ain't no black, brown, nothing. They understand you got to get in good with white supremacy. So what is the argument? Why they act like we're tripping, we're xenophobic, we're divisive? That is the obvious truth. And they know it. One more time. He couldn't articulate this any better.
Proximity to white. Everyone has realized this, but the people who follow you.
What do you
The proximity to whiteness and the distance from you guys is the key to success in America. How does that feel?
Okay, so when I watched that, I said, "Wow, that was deep," because that's what we all know. They're not coming over here trying to build with us for what? Like, we're being attacked by white supremacy every which way. This is why they say they're not black. You feel me? They don't want to be attached to systemic racism. All right, hold on. Hold on. All right, so let's get to the Angolan refugee, Matt Nuclear.
What's up, Matt?
What's up, man? It's been a bit, huh?
What's going on? Hop on camera, Matt, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, give me a second. Hold on.
So folks will know it's you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yes, indeed.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
What's up?
All right, what's going on? Angolan. This is the Angolan guy, Angolan
The
immigrant.
Angolan.
Yes,
There we
indeed.
go. All
Yes, indeed. So now, Matt, we don't do trolling here. You got to bring some scholarship. No trolling. We have a no
No
trolling.
trolling. No, for sure.
We don't do that. We don't do that. So
I want to start us off with a question.
Yeah. Go ahead. What's your question?
Why is it that whenever we see whites engaging, because I just want to cross-reference, whenever I see whites engaging, white Americans, whether their grandparents came here on a ship, like for example, Donald Trump's family, or any white Americans, they don't have this sort of fight with, well, I'm a heritage American, because the majority of them, like white Americans, are not heritage Americans, but the heritage Americans never fight with the ones who arrived in the 1940s or 30s. They never fight over it. They see themselves as the same, like not only the race, but they've assimilated. They don't have an accent anymore, and they're just like, they see themselves as the same, and we see them as the same. But when we deal with the black community, then there is the whole fighting over, you're a tether. Well, I think you're African. When did you come here? Did you come here in the 40s, 30s, 20s?
Okay, so I'm allowed Tariq Nasheed to respond to that, and then I'm going to respond to that. Okay, if he was talking to me, I'm going to respond the way I would respond to that. All right.
White Americans disproportionately voted for Donald Trump, and none of them questioned, well, hey, your grandfather came from Germany in the early 1900s. No one heard about that stuff. No one cared because they see themselves as the same. So why are you stoking this nonsense division over, well, I mean, I'm not a continental African. I mean, I saw you in Senegal, man. You look just like everyone else there.
No. So you know good and well that wasn't true. They know I wasn't from there. All right, let's not go there. And shout out to Senegal. I don't look nothing like anybody there, and they knew it. I stood out like a sore thumb. But to what you're saying, it's not correct, because when some of those other immigrant groups would come to America, many of them were marginalized initially, and they had to earn themselves into whiteness. The Irish were not initially white. They had to earn themselves into whiteness. The Italians were not initially white. They were called guineas.
So all this is true. When I heard this guy before come into Tariq Nasheed's spaces, trolling, clout chasing for a debate, and I heard this dude, I'm like, yo, this fam, he argues like a tethered conservative, a tethered Republican. And like, I can entertain other people, but a tethered Republican, a tethered conservative, like Tethered Dream, I'm good. Because they just next talking point. You debunk them, it don't mean nothing to them to be wrong over and over and over. And it to me, a tethered Republican, a tethered conservative are the worst to debate. Like I'm like least interested in them.
That was another term for a black person. And that was the whole narrative about Italians, that they were really mulattoes. But later on down the line, they let them assimilate into whiteness. Same thing with Greeks. They let them assimilate into whiteness. This is why they would have little enclaves of their ethnic towns. In Detroit, they have Greek Town. They had, I think they got a Greek town in Philly, if my Philly guys, if I'm not mistaken, So they would have their own little, like little Italy here. They would have their little ethnic enclaves, and they would beef in certain instances. So later on, they would haze them. They would put them into a hazing process and let them earn themselves into whiteness. They're doing that with Hispanics now. They're letting them ease themselves into whiteness. Same thing. They always do this with certain groups who can blend into whiteness later. Now, some of the Hispanics, they're getting tossed out with ICE and all of that right now. So they're going through a little hazing process. So they absolutely do delineate when it comes to the dominant white society. They are very particular about who they let into whiteness. So we as foundational Black Americans, we've had an open door policy as it relates not just to blackness, but as minorities. We would just let any minority come around and act as a spokesperson. We had to cut that off because we saw that these people who are not of our lineage don't have our interest at hand. So we had to start checking people and start looking at our lineage and looking at what we've contributed to this country as the foundation population of this country, and realize that we are different, and some of these other groups do not have our best interests, and we don't need them as our spokespersons. We're not trying to harm them, we're not trying to undermine them, but we just don't need everybody trying to speak for us, especially people who are immigrated from Angola and freshly to America.
Let's go over one thing though, because you did mention the fact that Irish Americans and Italian Americans had to become acclimated, right? They had to acclimate into America. They had to assimilate, but there was never a fight over lineage. They never said, well, actually, Irish Americans, you have a different lineage than we do. The fight was over culture. The whole.
All right. So it was never a fight. They came into a system and they bowed down. A lot of you guys know I studied the history of immigration. They had no say coming over here. They were begging to be white. Okay? They came, the Northern and the Western Europeans, well, I think Scandinavians, the Germans, the French, they came over here and was Anglo. Okay? And they assimilated very well according to white supremacy standards. The Germans, what they did was they made it illegal for Germans to speak German in schools. So they forced them to assimilate. You think they wanted to cut out their mother tongue? No. So this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Most tethers don't know what they're talking about. But also, he is comparing us, who are victimized by white supremacy, to the people who run white supremacy. Okay, so we're saying we're being undermined by white supremacy when they establish immigrants as minorities, people of color, and even Black African American. That was not our decision. So we didn't make that rule. So he's literally comparing apples to oranges. That's why you don't have much of an argument from them. They can't come over here legally without accepting the terms and conditions of white supremacy. Big difference. They got to accept them, and they do. So when the Southern and Eastern Europeans came over here, no, they were not white right away. The Irish, the Italians, the Poles, the Slavs, the Jews, no, they were not. They caught hell for a couple of decades. Okay, they caught hell from a couple of decades. So, so this is why they controlled their identity. That's what Tariq Nasheed is getting at. Like, there was no fight because white supremacy controlled when they could become white and when they can't. So they can't cosplay as a white American. They can't take advantage of programs that was for white America, like the HLLC, the ADC, AFDC, FHA, New Deal. No, they cannot take advantage of those programs when they first got here. So white people controlled the resources, and they gave it to them when they were ready to give it to them. When they felt like they were assimilated as white, they borrowed the white ideology. They accepted white supremacy. That's the biggest difference, my guy. And by the way, I just hit him on Instagram. I'm gonna try to get him over here, go over the same things so I could cook them. Yeah, but that was different. They came and accepted whiteness on white terms. When immigrants come over here and they are passed as Black African American, they don't gotta accept our ideologies before they do that. Okay, they don't gotta learn what it is to be Black, right? They don't gotta learn that. They come over here waving their flags every which way, and as far as I'm concerned, they are a Nigerian living in America, and there was no sense for them to assimilate. Nobody said they had to assimilate, and that's why they pick and choose when they assimilate for certain programs, certain protections. But outside of that, they are going to swing that flag and remind you, I'm not them. I'm an immigrant. Treat me differently.
Whole meme where there was the Italian guy who was interviewed and he says, what murder, right? That's what he says, because they have that sort of like in-group preference and, you know, culture where they protect each other and they love each other, right? But the issue is they never fight over lineage. Their whole thing is assimilation. And the Italians have assimilated. The Irish have assimilated. The thing is when the Italians have like first got here, they were, you know, committing a crazy amount of crime. We had the whole mob, but they eventually assimilated. The fight was never about lineage or whether or not the Italians were foundational or heritage. The fight was over assimilation and acclimation, and they did that.
Let's address that. It was completely about lineage. They were lineage based big time, especially the Italians. You want to talk about lineage? The Italians are so strong about lineage. This is why, in order to be a made man in the mafia, your lineage has to go back to Sicily and Italy. That's why you look at the movie Goodfellas. The one guy, he was mixed. He was like half Irish or something like that, and he couldn't be.
That's a great point. And the Tether's trying to look for it. You can see his facial expression. He's looking for a way out of this. But also the Jewish people. Okay. Also the Jewish people. Like you can't, you know, look at Little Russia in New York. Like you got to be ethnically these Europeans to flourish in their societies and do business with them.
Become a made man because he didn't have the right lineage.
I'm talking about Irish and white Americans, right? I'm talking about them. They never fought over that. Like if you ask, like you cannot find me a single article or any debate between a so-called heritage American and an Irish over the fact that the Irish is not heritage American. You'd find differences because they have.
Okay, so I had already explained that. There's benefits to be white. That's why a lot of Europeans were not trying to hold on to their heritage coming over here. I already explained that.
Different foods in Italy, and especially people from Sicily as well. They may have different cultures, accents. You have to learn a new language. All of that is understandable because that's basic assimilation. But there was never a fight over that. I mean, find me the white Americans today, because the heritage Americans are the minority of whites, but find me the heritage Americans that are white today fighting anyone, fighting the white South Africans. You see the white South Africans that are, Trump has approved their refugee assignment. Right. No one is going to fight them.
Yeah,
Bet me on that.
Of them.
No one will fight the white South Africans that are coming here.
They're insignificant. There's only 50 of them. Nobody cares about them. White society don't care about them.
Let's say it was 5,000. No one would care.
But let me tell you something. Hispanics are classified as white, and white people are not letting them move into their neighborhoods like that. So they do care about lineage.
Well, they're not white. Hispanics aren't white.
They are. Yes, they are. On paper, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah, but on paper means nothing, dude. They're not white.
Oh, that means everything. That's what makes you white. The paperwork. There's no genetic white people. What's a genetic white person? It moves. The goalpost moves every 20 years.
Probably.
What's a genetic white person?
I don't know. The census doesn't count Hispanics as white. I mean, you can you can select.
They do.
There specifically is a section for or an option for
They are
Hispanic.
classified as white. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, sir.
Maybe some Hispanics are very white, right?
Yeah,
Some
but
Hispanics are, but the
even the
majority of them,
darker
no.
ones, even
As you see, he's not sure. He said none, now some, and now he's conceding to it. So he kind of just debunked himself on that point. Yeah, but like I said, the way I explained it, I think that was sufficient. But let's go on.
even the darker ones classify themselves as white. Look at the stats in Puerto Rico.
Very rarely, but there's an option for Hispanic.
It's not rare, sir.
Oh.
That's no, most of them.
Very rarely. That's objectively true.
Enrique from the Proud Boys. We saw his documents. Because when you get arrested, you can see your classification. He's classified as white, and he's a so-called Afro-Latino or Afro-Cuban.
Right.
But on paper,
He's not white.
He's classified as white on paper.
I see a lot of black people classified as white on paper as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of these people, especially from East Africa, they are technically Caucasian based on paperwork. So yeah, the whiteness.
But paperwork doesn't matter. I mean,
it does to a certain degree.
Not really.
It does to a certain degree because then a mindset comes with that. A mindset comes with it. And if these people are classified as white, they come to us with a white supremacist mindset. And that's the issue.
you talk a lot about white supremacy. This is very interesting because some of you guys, I saw a video where you were talking about an African immigrant who was arrested and there was a mugshot and you were like, he doesn't look like he's from our lineage. You talk about white supremacy, yet the reason why you don't look as dark as he does, or you don't have the Western African phenotype to the purest of extent, is because you have more European admixture because your ancestors were raped. So are you
okay? So at this point, he was being very disrespectful, and that's why Tariq Nasheed got at him. So you see, Tariq said, "Hey, let's keep it academia, right? Let's stick to the facts. Let's be professional. Let's have a real, hood debate." And so he threw the first disrespectful shot. Oh, they were raped. Now he could have just said, through admixture with Europeans, you guys are lighter or look a certain way. But to throw the RAPE word in there, he was trying to be disrespectful because a lot of people are mixed in with the invaders because of that right there. Okay, but historically, when you read it, you don't say it like that. You say admixture. When we talk about the Moors, nobody says that. You use certain appropriate words. So Tariq's about to go left on him. I'm just explaining why. But they normally throw the rock and hide their hands, and they say, "Yo, you call you personal."
Flexing that your ancestors were raped, therefore you have more European admixture?
You are from Angola. Those Portuguese was over there.
Can you answer my question?
No, I'm answering it now. You
Okay,
talk
great.
about graping. They were tearing up the women and the dudes over there.
I agree. They were.
Right, yeah.
Of
So
course.
you shouldn't wag your finger. They were really creating the Lancados, and they had a whole racial cast over there who were the mixed breed the
Happened to both of us. We agree.
middlemen for the slave trade. Yeah, some of those Lancados over there. in
You look
your
pretty
homeland,
light.
Yeah, they were some of the ones out here getting people from Central Africa, taking them to the coast. They were some big old Sambos over there.
I agree.
But we just have a different phenotype.
Why?
Because of the intermixing here. Yeah, we were
Okay.
salted, and we also mixed in with the Aboriginal population here. Also, geography. We're not as close as to the equator as the people over there. So there's a lot of things that contribute to
No, the geography means little because it's only been 500 years. It
That's
hasn't
a
been too
lot.
long yet.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, 500 years ago, there was no such thing as a Latino or a Mexican or a Puerto Rican. So whole different races has popped up since 500 years, sir.
Well, those aren't races; those are ethnicities. But again, I mean,
Same thing.
no, ethnicity and race are different. Like, for example, let's give you an example, right? The Tutsi population and Hutu population in Rwanda, they're both black, but they're different ethnicities. They're different tribes, right?
No, they're not both black. So you guys knew when he said race and ethnicity, I was going to correct him. You don't know what they are. Let's back that up. They're not both black. There's no such thing as race in Africa or anywhere else. Only America uses race. Okay. In Africa, they call them people of African descent. right? But check this out though. So that's why I'm gonna email him too. I want to get this guy because a lot of them do this. And matter of fact, yesterday, if y'all recall, I think it was the 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock that Tariq had. It was a guy AC, the African Black Rebel. Now I already cooked him, right? And he was trying to be smart on Tariq Nasheed platform. I invited him over here and totally embarrassed him. So if I get time, I'm gonna play some of that to remind you that that's the guy that I got him from Tariq Nasheed. His dumb self said his IG, and yeah, I was one of those people like, hey man, let me talk to you, man. Let me holler at you. Straight cooked him and educated him that he's not black. He conceded because he got a song called "Black Rebel." After I got on him, he definitely conceded.
Difference. Like for example, let's give you an example, right? The Tutsi population and Hutu population in Rwanda, they're both black, but they're different ethnicities, they're different tribes.
No, they're both African. Okay, they're not black. And again, he's using black as a phenotype descriptor. That's not how we use black, my guy. So if they're black in any sense, they're not black like us. So you can't even use it like how we use it. Because if you just say, hey, they're black, we're going to automatically, when you're talking to real black people and you call somebody black, we're going to automatically think you're using black the way we use black. This is why it's important to correct them.
Right. Same thing with Yoruba and Igbo. Same race, but different tribes. So tribe and ethnicity, tribe and race are different. But again, the point still stands. I mean, if you are going around and saying, well, guys, look, I look a little bit more different than the West Africans because I have more European admixture. I have a significant European admixture as well, but I don't go around, saying, oh, this makes me cooler. I look, less West African. It's like, yeah, because.
Okay, so nobody use it as that, just like you have lighter. So would you make the same charge on these light Hispanics who look like Oscar de la Hoya? Would you say that they're going around? See, he wouldn't say that as a tether. He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't charge. Almost all the world are appealing to their lighter side. All the Spanish countries. And he wouldn't make that same charge at them. Right. So this is again low key, gaslighting, low key disrespecting, passive aggression.
Because your ancestors were raped, mine, yours, so on and so forth. That happened. But it's not something we should go around, acting as if it's.
No. That's projection. That's your fantasy. We're not going around. We're stating the obvious. We've been for 400 years, and we've been looking this way for 400 years. This is our look. This is the FBA look. Okay. So his country, the way he looks, kind of similar. That's his look. And because we have that distinctive look, he can say the same thing. Hey, when I go abroad to these darker African countries, I stand out. Okay? That's just a fact. That nobody's bragging no, it's just a fact. We don't look like that on average. You might catch a few of us for whatever reason, but for the most part, no. That's not our experiences.
It's this big cool thing.
And then it's not just grape soda. You have a lot of FBAs now who are interracial dating and Spanish, Korean, all type of people. You feel me? And they're not necessarily white, and some are. So those offspring was probably really dark. I mean, like those men probably were really dark. Those women was probably really dark before their interracial relationships. So now they have kids that are light, but that don't mean that those kids are light as a result of grape soda. That could be recent. That could be 2 generations. So this generic argument is not going anywhere.
Thing.
We've never said that. The big cool thing.
But you guys act like it. You're like, well, it doesn't look like he's from my lineage.
That's your insecurity, sir. The big cool thing is that we've survived the.
You like whiteness.
No. The great thing is we survived sexual assault and slavery and became the global cultural population. So that's the flex, sir. You guys have the sexual assault and some.
Yeah, so Tariq about to rip him a new one, but do me a favor, fam. It's like 90-something people live. We got 56 likes. Let's get the likes to the live viewership. As I keep explaining, our channels are shadow banned. Anybody that says FBA and got in that title, yeah, you're probably shadow banned too, right? Because they're trying to make FBA synonymous with like MAGA. You feel me? They're trying to like get us out the algorithms when we say FBA. So do me a favor, family, like this video, and that's a way to get around that shadow ban. Shadow ban just means that they're not going to notify our subscribers that we're live. You know, some will get it, some won't. By liking the video, it'll show up in that subscriber who didn't get the like or notification bell thing. It'll show up in her suggestion feed, and they say, "Oh, UnbiasedRON live. Let me tap in." But that happens with your likes. So like the video. Let's get the family here. I'm not gonna be here too long. Okay, but I definitely want to cook on this.
Some of the other things, and y'all had to flee. So that's why we kind of flex a little bit. We had a different outcome based on the trauma, because we've had the exact same trauma to a certain degree. Ours was a little bit different, but we've created a culture of resistance.
And also, like, for this reason, I'm trying to get my name out there so I could cook guys like this. Because when I heard this debate, I was livid. I was livid. That's why I hit him on IG, and I'm going to email him in a second, because it's straight bad faith arguments. And what's the guy? Keep it touchy. If you're out there, keep it touchy. Click the link so I can further explain to you how that was a bad faith question, asking us what's the end game for 43 million people. All right, as though we're an organization or institution. So I replied to you. Hopefully you read that and understood it. But if you still have problems, click that link. Anybody that agrees with this guy, this Angolan tether, click the link. Anybody who disagrees with anything FBA has done, said, written, click the link. Even ADOS or even US Freedom. If you think anything we said or did, click the link. Let's have a discussion.
We never made a deal with the white
Now, that is for people who disagree.
supremacists, unlike you guys.
Oh, that's not true. Come on.
Yeah, you guys made a deal. Y'all, your leaders over there, tribal leaders, signed all types of treaties.
Okay, now he's about to say something ridiculous. I caught it in real time. I was watching this premiere, and I was correcting him in the chat. I know he can't see this premiere. I wanted the chat to know this dude he's not ready.
And you just welcome the subjugation. It's always been up. It's always been
Paul Cuff signed a deal, but okay.
Who?
Paul Cuff. He worked with the American Colonization Society. I mean, he was a black man.
We talked about that. Most of us rejected that. Almost all.
I agree, but Paul Cuff was a black man.
Yeah, but we rejected him and that. Most of us.
Okay, so family, he just said Paul Cuff. Say that again, sir. Now you guys know the first time you heard about Paul Cuff was over here. We talk about Paul Cuff all the time, me and Revenue. So let's go back on that.
Almost all.
I agree, but Paul.
I'm sure Revenue heard that. If Revenue remembers things, if you're not slow as I think is, I know he cringed like, oh my God, this guy's so wrong. I know Revenue was siding with him until he said that. I know Revenue was like, oh, he messed up. Because Revenue, as much as we talk about Paul Cuff, Revenue should know this was a blunder from the Angolan tether.
Deal, but okay.
Yeah. Let's go back.
Whiteness.
No, the great thing is we survived sexual assault and slavery and became the global cultural population. So that's the flex, sir. You guys had the sexual assault and some of the other things, and y'all had to flee. So that's why we kind of flex a little bit. We had a different outcome based on the trauma, because we've had the exact same trauma to a certain degree. Ours was a little bit different.
So this is where he would have been DEAD had he been talking to me when he said Paul Cuff.
We created a culture of resistance. We never
look at the date when the ACF was founded, and then listen to his claim. Right, 1816. Listen to his claim.
Made a deal with the white supremacists, unlike you.
Oh, that's not true. Come on.
Yeah, you guys made a deal. Y'all, your leaders over there, tribal leaders, signed all types of treaties, and you just welcome the subjugation. It's always been up. It's always been.
Paul Cuff signed a deal, but okay.
Who?
Paul Cuff. He worked with the American Colonization Society. I mean, he was a black man.
We talked about that. Most of us rejected that. Almost all.
I agree, but Paul.
Okay, so again, he's just all over the place, which I love because I'm well organized with my thoughts. So Paul Cuff died in 1817. When was the ACF founded? 1816. So you're telling me Paul Cuff on his deathbed signed that? First of all, Paul Cuff was already in Africa, I think Sierra Leone somewhere. He financed his own trip. So the ACS, I know this guy know nothing about the ACS. So Paul Cuff financed his own ship. Paul Cuff used to make fleets of ships. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, the ACS were a bunch of white supremacists who were trying to repatriate free blacks to Liberia. So they founded Liberia. You see it right here. Okay. So you see it right there? It says founded in 1816 by Robert Finley and notable members like Henry Clay and Bushmeat Washington. Bushrod Washington. The American Colonization Society sought to send free black people and emancipated slaves to establishing this colony of Liberia in 1822. So actually, they didn't have, the organization was founded in 1816 and they started to repatriate people in 1822. Paul Cuff died in 1817. So he wants us to believe on his deathbed he was signing signing off to him, which would be dumb because he finances his own trips to Africa when he took 39 people with him way before the ACS. Okay, now, like Tariq Nasheed said, there were other notable people that was against ACS. Many free black were against ACS. Think about this. At the time he's talking about, I know he don't know this, poor soul, but there was 300 to 500,000 free blacks. ACS went to send damn it some Marcus Garvey stuff to repatriate to Africa. Okay, only 12,000 went, and a lot of them were coerced and underwent forced migration. So this wasn't like a real voluntarily thing for the 12,000 who actually went. But 12,000 out of 500,000, that swings Tariq Nasheed's way. That sounds like a lot of people didn't sign off to this this ACS idea. And don't forget, this was only for free blacks. You cannot be a slave because when you're a slave, you're seen as property. So that's called stealing. I can't just steal you off the plantation and send you to Africa. But what the ACS were doing, they were paying for people freedom in exchange that they go to Liberia or go back into enslavement. So yeah, this guy, and this is off the top of the head, I'm not reading nothing. This guy is bushmeat if he talks to me, if he accepts the my challenge. I'm gonna bring up all of this again to him.
Paul Cuff was a black man.
Yeah, but
right?
but we rejected him and that. Most of us rejected that. We didn't go along.
I'm saying you made some deals, but listen, I'm not going to take it away from
that's
you.
Not. He doesn't represent us though. So
okay, great. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to take away from it.
Class. We have sample classes out there who don't represent us.
Sure.
Shout out to the great Harriet Tubman who spoke out against the American Colonization Society, and she was talking lineage business. She was like, "Yeah, they're trying to send us to Africa, but we're too rooted here and we're not going anywhere." So shout out to our Queen Mother Harriet Tubman.
I can't listen. I'm not here to undermine you guys. I have a lot of respect. Actually,
you can't undermine us, sir, because you have fled from your homeland. You are a de facto refugee, so you can't undermine us. You don't have the power or the clout to undermine.
But let me ask you a question. Who came here in more dignity? So I came here when I was 6 years old, right? My family, my ancestors specifically, they weren't brought here on a ship. They weren't told when to eat. They weren't.
All right, so let's back up. Not just Harriet Tubman. You had Richard Allen, who founded the AME Church. You had Martin Delaney Robinson. No, don't do that. Yeah, Martin Robinson Delaney, who was anti ACS. You want to throw out names? Yeah, so it was many people. Matter of fact, about 3,000 people. I think George Macon said. I think it was in Philly. I know either three affiliated or New York, 3,000 freedmen, or not at that time, not freedmen. But yeah, I think they were freedmen had came together and said, hell no to the ACS, 3,000. Like, oh, nah, we're good. So now he's getting cooked on information. Remember, Tariq Nasheed said, keep it academia, keep it, here stuff we can read and research. Nope. Now he's gonna go to personal ad hominems. This guy, listen to this guy. This refugee tether.
Weren't thrown overboard. I came here with dignity. I came here with respect. You guys
Slow down. Let me slow down.
dignity.
Sir, so is crapping on the street in your homeland dignifying?
So again, so they can't beat us in academia, in any academia setting. So this where they go now. So with me, I'll probably just kick them off at this point. I'll keep it as much information as possible to cook them, and I'm a content creator. I want content. I want to beat the dude really badly, beat him down, and then once you start this right here, he'll probably get booted.
That's what you would be doing if it wasn't for the white Europeans.
No. Ain't no woulda, coulda, shoulda. We don't do that. No. We don't do
Yeah,
that.
you do.
No, we don't. Sir, you guys crap on you.
You see Detroit?
Sir, no, ain't nobody crapping. Yeah, my family's in Detroit. They're doing well. Nobody's crapping in the streets in Detroit, sir. You guys
Doesn't look too good over there.
You guys have to wipe your ass with shea butter leaves in your homeland. Is that dignified,
Really?
sir?
I never had to do that.
All right, so my computer is freezing. It never freezes, but it picked a great time to start freezing. We're trying to pause the video. We're like freezing, like Mr. Freeze. All right, so let me see what's going on. Oh, okay. I gotta stop the share. That's still frozen. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so they gotta go to ad hominem to save face. None of them can deal with us with the information. That's why they look bad. When Dan cook them, and the cow cook them, I cook them, Jason Black cook them, Tariq Nasheed cook them. There's so many people. Dennis Sperling, George Making, Lex Vortex. We got ex-architect. A lot of us just be, embarrassing you. We got SWLU44. You dig? Like we be just going in on them. Wait for my laptop to unfreeze and what the hell just happened here. But can I go here? Nope. Yeah, this is wow. Let me try to, I can't close tabs. Everything I close. Okay. Okay, it unfroze. All right, so let me share my screen. Yeah, but you see how fast I pull up Paul Cuff? Like, this guy. So this is when a tether have a gotcha, but it wasn't a gotcha. It's like, nah, I'm about Paul Cuff. I know more about Paul Cuff than you, my guy. And I know more about the ACS than you. So you're about to really, really get personal and start deflecting like this. Yeah, so like the video, like I said, some of you are liking, everybody didn't like the video. And the super chat does work, and let me put the cash app back on the screen.
You had to come over here among the foundational Black Americans so that you would not be wiping that ass with.
Can we clarify something? Because you
not?
guys always talk about, bush meat and, you have to wipe your ass and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
The reason why you aren't eating bush meat is not because you're of a different lineage. The reason why you aren't eating bush meat is because this country was 90-something% white, and you have been subsidized by the whites. The whites have been subsidizing you and helping you and giving.
So this is the best they can do. This ain't academia. But he couldn't put that in Gemini, and Gemini wouldn't be like, oh yeah, you're right. But Gemini would call him the tether. You dig? He'll say no results found, tether. That's exactly what Gemini would say. So this, again, just ad hominem attacks, because with the information, family, none of them can do anything with us. None of them. So they got to resort in things like this. Can't do anything with us. What did I? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, carry on.
You all these different programs in Section 8.
Like what?
That's why
Like
you
what?
aren't eating bush
Like
meat.
what?
Not
Like
because
what?
you're superior.
Sir, we've always had to get it out the mud. We've known how to take care of ourselves, sir. You guys have to rely on Red Cross. You guys have to rely on Red Cross rice and Red Cross grains. We don't do all that. We know how to take care of each other. We've always taken care of each other, sir. As foundational Black Americans, we've always known how to get it out the mud. These people have worked against us. They've destroyed some of our prosperous business districts, and we had to rebuild over and over again. We didn't flee like you guys did. You guys get a couple of setbacks and y'all have to flee all over the world, sir. That's different. So yeah, they're not subsidizing us. They're subsidizing
Yeah, you
you.
are.
No. They have to subsidize you while they pillage your homeland of all the resources. And
You
now
guys can't even speak English.
and then you have to come over here up under us, sir. Right?
Hold on. Let me just say something really quickly. So 1526, that's when the foundational Black American, lineage starts, right?
1526 is when we first had resistance against the white chief supremacists on this land.
Okay. So 500 years that would be. So 500 years, you guys are still putting the is where the are should be. You guys can't even speak English. It's been 500 years. Where is you going? What is you doing? It's 500 years.
Well, you have to gravitate towards that because most of us don't talk like that. But even if we do,
you guys do.
No.
You guys do.
And let me tell you something. When we talk like that, we know how to code switch because the people who talk like that, they can code switch.
Okay, now you know you're desperate when you start talking about that. Because again, when you're talking to me, I can say, okay, so all of Latin America are illiterates. Because none of them speak the Spanish. Vosotros. Okay? They don't speak like that. They all speak their version of the ex-colonizer, ex-enslaver language. The Haitians, they speak Creole. Ain't that a twist or tweak of French? And the island family, no, too hard. The island family, don't they speak a twist of British English? Yeah, so this is normal. When you don't have a natural dialect of your enslavers or colonizers and they force their language on you, you're going to end up spinning it and, using it to your comfort level. That's a smart thing to do. Now, I don't know what he does in his fled country. I don't know if he tries to, oh, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. If you do that, then you're not from a resistant lineage, a lineage of resistance. Okay, so just speaking like we do, and that's a form of rebelling to not speak exactly like your colonizers and for us, our enslavers, former enslavers. That's a sign of rebellion. No, I'm not going to take the language like you all the way. You dig? So that's actually a flex.
Sir, you can't code switch hunger and famine, sir. That's part of your culture. That's
you guys
part
can't
of
even
who
speak
you are.
English. It's
You have
500
to-
years.
No. You have to run over here to us who's speaking like that so you can be safe and you can eat, sir. Because you tired of the monkey McNuggets over there in your failed homeland, sir.
You guys can't speak English.
Monkey McNuggets, that is
is you
hilarious.
running? Is you fleeing? We can say that. Is you eating bush meat? We can say that.
Listen, brother.
All right.
This is the thing with the FBA movement. You
Nothing.
guys have a
So family, he might have been correct in the 1980s, 1970s. No, we have influenced the world to speak English like us. So even corporate America, family, am I lying? All of you that go to a job interview, when you answer a yes or no question, do you say yeah? You say yeah, right? Or you don't say yes? Family, when I was growing up in 48, when I was doing interviews at 20, you had to say yes in that interview room. You had to say yes. Slang was like taboo and like, you definitely not getting that job. Now the entire corporate America is saying, yeah, what's up? What's cracking? That's corporate. So we got the English people, the proper people he talking about. That's not how they talk in real life. They talk like us in real life. They do, they say it, we done. They don't use the verb, the linking verb. We did that. We made taking out the linking verb cool. We won. One more game and we won. Okay? Yeah. So the world talks like that. They use English after us.
lot more to worry about.
No, we're good.
Your children can't read.
We don't, sir.
They're sagging their pants in the streets.
Sir, y'all don't have schools out there like that, sir. You guys that's why you here.
Yeah, this guy easy. He's too easy. How about all the white people that say we that use the verb are in place of the plural pronoun our. So many white people you say are. Yes, we got to protect our children. That is a white mistake, a grammar mistake in English that they use all the time. They say, "Hey, we got to protect our children. This is our country." They use the "our" verb. It's our children, our country. A lot of white people use that grammatical flaw. All right, like I said, dude, not ready for me, man.
You over
You guys
here
have
with
schools
us.
and can't read.
Yes, we can read. We can read good enough not to flee. All right, we ain't fleeing. We can read good enough to stay here and chill. We're not eating Red Cross rice and white.
Whites are here.
No. You can try to give props
Because
to
whites are here.
white mommy and white daddy. No. We get them out of our business. We try to avoid them. We don't have them in our business, sir. We're not like you. We're not
Who beg
dependent
for
like that. We're not like you, sir. So listen, look at me. Look, I want you to listen to something. Look at me for a second. You know, I'm very successful at what I do. I don't
Yeah, Matt had already 14. He already tapped out. That's why he threw his gun, no more bullets, and he just ad hominem attacking. He been took the L. He thought he was ready. He got cooked, and now it's just personal attacks. And guess what? I'm going to dig him up and bury him again. If he answers my email or my IG inbox message, I'm going to dig him up and bury him again. Worse. Because I ain't going to have no jokes. It's going to hurt worse, but no jokes.
You know, I don't get a dime, no corporate money, nothing. I have best-selling movies, best-selling lectures, so many things. Not a dime from the corporate sector. I'm an example of that. Everything you get, you had to suck up to the alt-right. I mean, everything about you is fail, fail, fail. Y'all been doing that fail routine for the last 600 years, and you're fleeing all over the world. You haven't learned that doesn't work. Sucking up to these white tea supremacists, that's been a detriment to you. And this is why we delineate from you, because we know that you have a white worshiping mindset, and we can't do anything with you, right?
Let's clarify something else, actually, if I'm able to speak. You guys talk about proximity to whiteness. Then why is it that you fought for proximity to whiteness? You fought for desegregation. You fought so that you could go to their neighborhood, so that you could go to their schools.
Okay, family, this is a trick lie. Again, oh my gosh. This guy is too easy. My guy, they crushed our cities. They made our cities deserts. Something called urban renewal. Something called bombing from the air, aerial bombings of Black Wall Street. Something called burning down Rosewood, my guy. So all of our centers of education and wealth and money, they crushed them, or they created highways to them. They no longer invested in them. Okay, so if you look at my Soul City Live, I'm oh my God, I can't wait to get this guy. I can't say the language, but I'm gonna get him. When I go into, I'm gonna have them explain Soul City. That is post integration. That's 1979, and we're still being our cities still being sabotaged by the American government post 1968. Because a lot of these tether conservatives, they would say racism and Jim Crow ended in 1968. So when I bring up Soul City and have them explain Soul City, it's gonna be crickets. Yeah, I'm gonna pull out the ad libs saying that the sound effects. If he pull up, I'm gonna bring out those annoying sound effects. I'm sorry. That's the only clowning I'll do.
Right, so that you could be under the guide of their teachers. You fought for proximity of whiteness to whiteness, sir. You fought for it.
Okay. What we were fighting in the civil rights movement, and it started with the Board of Education thing. What we were fighting for was equal resources to our schools. We wanted equal resources. We were fighting for equal resources because our schools were being underfunded and we were being taxed. That's the main thing we wanted to fight for.
Underfunded by whom?
By the government. The government funds the schools. You get money from the government.
The predominantly white government.
Predominantly white government. Well, we're still a part of the government.
So
We are
why
the
don't you
government.
pool your money?
Okay, family, don't fall for that. That's that slick. So right now he's being slick. He's trying to say, pull your boots up by your straps. And he's trying to say it's white money. No, 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 no. Yesterday, I did a live on how we were and are the foundation of America. And everybody else is just adding to the foundation, you know, a roof, a water heater. But the foundation goes to us. So now the wealth, the economy, that was ours. Our labor made the economy, I think, number one, just off cotton exports. So don't fall for their pull your, you got to do it. No, 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 no. Our wealth that the government is circulating and giving it to people, like the 1862 Homestead Act and the HOLT, FHA, the New Deal, all that type of stuff. Welfare, we know it today. Insurance, right? Unemployment insurance, all that type of stuff. That's our wealth that's circulating. So yes, the government, but it's our wealth, my guy, that they're passing to each other and excluding us. Our cities were destroyed through exclusion and intrusion, my guy. Yes. So no, 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 no. We're old, and like he said, we're tax-paying citizens on top of all that. Okay, there's no such thing as exclusion of race, right? Ain't that wrong? Ain't racism wrong? Okay, so you can't pass things, you can't have things like redlining, you can't have things like racial zoning laws and restrictive covenants and tell us what? Okay, you can't say we can't move out of our community. We're stuck in a condensed community, no matter how much wealth we got, and expect us to be great afterwards. No, no, no. You got to repair a wrong, my guy. So no, no, this does not work. That pull yourself up by your bootstrap does not work because we know that white Americans, there's nobody in this country who's been assisted more than them. They have got nothing out the mud. Okay, the only thing they got out the mud was tethers, and they brought them over here.
But we're paying taxes, and these school districts, they allocate resources based on our taxes. So yes, we want equal money, just like the white schools get.
The majority.
We're not like you. See, we don't just accept discrimination and all that stuff. It's called fighting back, not fleeing, sir. So we said, wait, we need equal resources. That's what we were fighting for. Unfortunately, we had to give up a lot of our things for integration, which we should have held on to a lot of what we had. We had to give up. That was part of the integration thing. So what we wanted to do was be able to go into spaces without having segregation signs. So we wanted to be able to move freely. And we accomplished that.
You fought for proximity to whiteness, and that's
It
okay.
wasn't proximity to whiteness. It was, we didn't want it to be illegal for us to walk into certain spaces. If we pay taxes, just like everybody else, we shouldn't be discriminated against. We shouldn't have to walk in a back door. That's called standing on business. We didn't want to stand just with the white people because we still live in our own black neighborhoods in our own enclaves with each other. But we were not fleeing like you.
You had no reason to flee. You were you lived in a predominantly white nation. You were being subsidized. Why else would you flee?
Well, sir, your nation is predominantly white dominated, and you're the numerical majority, but you were dominated by white people, sir. You understand?
It doesn't
that?
matter if you're the majority. You're
Yeah, you're the majority, and the white people were whooping your ass, the Portuguese. Now, what does that say?
I'll tell you what it says.
What does that say about your mindset?
You were being thrown overboard, dude.
No, over
Your
here.
ancestors were being thrown overboard.
No, what does that say?
I came here with dignity.
You're 90,
okay?
You're 99% of the population and like 1% of some Portuguese whooping your ass. What does that say? What does that say about you as a man?
Do you know what the blackest city in America is?
No, don't change the subject. What does that say about you as a man? You're 90.
I'm saying it happens to you.
No, we've been 13% of the population, and we've been standing on business all the time.
30% of the murders.
Yeah. Y'all 30% of the musty. But how does it feel? How does it feel about being a man getting dominated and you're the majority? How does that feel?
You know how that feels.
No, I don't know.
No.
We're not the majority here, sir. We're not the majority here, and we stand on business.
You have a majority city.
Where?
Do you don't know what the blackest city in America is?
What's the blackest city in America?
You should tell me.
You're deflecting, sir.
You don't know what the blackest city in America is? You're an
you just
FBA.
said you just said it's a white majority country. You just
Jackson,
admitted
Mississippi.
that. Right. Okay. You just said it's a white
Over
majority
80%
country.
black. Do you
But,
own all the things there?
But it's a white majority country, just like you said, which it is. So Mississippi is part of the whole country.
You don't own everything.
Your country, sir, is majority you, and the white supremacists whoop your ass over there. How does that feel? To the point where you got to flee. They ran you out of your homeland, sir. How does that feel?
I mean, again, I think the good question is, how does it feel to be brought on the ship, stripped of your culture, and thrown overboard?
No. We got a culture, sir. That's why y'all over there in your
Still
homeland.
can't speak.
Y'all homeland, y'all dressing like us, sir. Y'all
Still can't speak.
y'all artists are speaking like us. We speak good enough. Y'all speak, sing, rap, dance like us.
You
So
guys can't speak.
we're speaking good enough,
You guys
sir.
can't speak.
We can speak good enough
You guys
to the
can't
point
speak.
to the point where we're not fleeing, sir. All right. Anyway, so you're repeating everything like a woman now. So thank you. I
You gonna run away? Let's have a longer conversation.
I've already defeated you. I'm not here. I'm not a social worker. I don't just talk in circles. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're just talking in circles at this point. All right. Yeah. Yeah. You keep trying to change the subject. Yeah. You're boring. Yeah. When you get called out and when you get debunked, you just start talking in circles. Yeah, I'm not here to talk in circles. That's what your caseworker and your at the immigration office is there for. I'm not here for that.
All right, so family, this is why I said we got to gatekeep black. Nobody that can talk like that to us should be categorized with anything with us. Okay? That's why I said, no, you're not, because he would call himself black. He tried to call the hoot season, the toot season of Hutu black. No, they're not black, they're African. If you're not black, you're African. Be proud of your homeland. And that's why I say the need to gatekeep black. Right? Now, in certain contexts, without being petty, you dig? We'll let them slide when they try to, do the whole race thing, black, African American, so they don't go around in circles. I hear what you're saying, but just know our ethnonym, our ethnic label is black, and yours is not.
Yeah, so you can't talk about us. We as foundational black Americans, we're the only people who stands up to the white tea supremacists. We were the ones who made the laws equal over here, sir. We made the laws so that you can come over here and suck up to the white tea supremacists. We did that, sir, while you were over there, the majority of your population in your homeland getting whooped on by a minority. And they done ran you out of your own homeland. Come on now. We different. We are different. Come on. Yeah, the hairline is all janky. Uh-huh. Yes, indeed. Yeah, he's over here sucking up to the alt-right. And the family, this is why we delineate. You gotta delineate. We're not going to build nothing with that. Talking about fled with dignity. Yeah, we came with what dignity? Y'all living in shanty towns. You're living in shipping containers. Where's the dignity in that? Dignity is surviving centuries of trauma that these white tea supremacists tried to inflict on us, and we got out of it and dusted ourselves off with our head up, still standing on our ancestral homeland. That's dignity. And that's why you over here up under us. You had to come over here and get some of this dignity energy. All right? You had to come flee up under us. Let's keep that thing a buck. If you had dignity, you would have stayed home. Our dignity gave you a place to stay. Yeah, that's why we ain't on that Pan-African thing. Yeah, he's using all of these white tea these lame talking points. He started talking about the white tea supremacists. They don't be thinking about lineage with each other. The hell they don't. They're big on lineage with each other. They be hazing each other left and right. That's why the Hispanics who are classified as white, they're not letting them into those circles yet. They still, yeah, with the Jewish community, they're like, hey, we got to watch you. Yeah, they're real funny style with them as far as lineage. Yes, they are on that lineage thing with each other. They have infighting with each other still. Don't get it twisted. Oh, yes, they do. They have infighting with each other based on lineage to this day. Don't get it twisted. So, yeah, we're not going to have a big old open tent where we're just letting everybody in to represent us. We're not doing that. Yeah, delineation with us is real. And the tether class, they feel that because now we're not letting them act as our representatives. See, the alt right don't need cuts like him. What's up, Solani Queen?
Hello?
Hey, ma'am, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I am good. What's on your mind, ma'am?
Oh, nothing much. I actually didn't mean to get on here, but since I'm on here, just want to say how you doing. Been
I
watching
am
you for a
good.
while.
What you doing over there? You sound like you're rolling around on the bed.
I was.
Hopefully you guys can hear me. I gotta. It's getting too loud. Too loud. So I gotta get up out of here. I'm hungry anyway. But yeah, we gonna continue. I'm gonna get out of this that loud as hell, and I'm gonna build on that. Move that, and we're gonna chop it up on those. Like the dude is like a Myron game, man. Dumb as I thought he was. Oh, you don't speak English, bruh. So you fled over here because you thought your country failed because the lack of speaking proper English. Yeah, he probably really believed that. He probably really convinced himself that the success in his country, his homeland, is that they all got to speak proper English. Like, I will tether. Well, take your ass back to your homeland with the English you learned and teach them. Okay, so we got Black American Nigerian. I hope this ain't Pan Nigerian. He's getting acquainted. You can unmute Black American Nigerian. I have no idea what that is. Hey, Black American Nigerian, you there? You got to unmute. All right. Well, anyway, let me know when you're ready to talk. I'm gonna keep going in. We ain't got this dead silence. All right, I hear you now.
I didn't know I was on. It's good, bro.
Yeah, what's good, man? What's going on with you?
Yeah, yo, you just said you don't know what that is?
What?
Black American Nigerian?
Hell no. What's that?
I mean, what does it sound like?
Sound like a ball of confusion.
You mean to tell me that a person can't be one side one and another side another? You never heard of nothing like that? You can't be Black American and have one parent Nigerian or Jamaican or Haitian or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard of people with mixed parent, from the island or Africa somewhere in the FBA. Yeah, I heard of that.
That's what that is, man. But that's kind of simple. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And that's the first I ever heard it. That's all.
I just came up with that.
Okay. All right. It's that's creative.
Ouch. It's simple though. But anyway, what's good, bro? My question is this, right? I'm trying to understand, like, what do foreigners have to do with Black Americans delineating? Like, why are they even in the conversation?
Okay. So it's not really about foreigners at all. It's really about white supremacy versus Black Americans. Like that's what it's really about. And come over here. And white supremacy, they're good at chess. So they're good at playing chess. So what they do is they like to dilute and misappropriate things that's for us. Get in there, right? So, and their main way to do that is to influx the country with immigrants. Okay, go sit down. All right. So I studied the history of immigration in this country, so I can really go in there, but I won't unless you ask other questions. But yeah, so that's what it is. So now what happens is we know the game. So when we check white supremacy, we expect, something to be done. But when the pawns, the immigrants themselves start to get in the middle of us addressing white supremacy, that becomes the problem. So we got to push them out the way to get back at white supremacy, but they start to serve as buffers. They start to really, like the guy just now, without saying the most rude things, unnecessary, but he's saying the most rude things for no reason, and we got to move him out the way to get to the white supremacists. So that's pretty much what's going on right now.
So I got you. No, that makes sense, bro. I just don't understand. Like, what point do like you listening to that conversation Tariq was having with the kid, and I'm like, yo, why is this dude not falling to the crossing in them having this conversation? How come he ain't on the phone with Nick Fuentes and the clowns that be talking crazy about Black Americans and Black people in general? At what point do we rub heads with them dudes? Like, why is it always tether this, tether that, while these other cats is talking even crazier? And they American, and they right here in front of us. But we gotta find a Haitian, we gotta find a Somalian, we gotta find a Nigerian to argue with.
No. I don't know what you mean. Back up.
Yep.
Going to Nick Fuentes platforms, and we're not going to Chaotic Truth platform either. They're coming to our spaces looking for a fight.
That's true though. What I'm saying is, even if it's not a platform, these dudes is on their platform talking crazy about us. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't we go over it? You know what I'm trying to say, bro?
Now, so you said who's talking crazy about who?
White supremacists, Fuentes, fucking Tucker Carlson, fucking all the Fox News, all the what's that talking point?
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? So they on Twitter talking crazy. They want all these apps, so they on YouTube talking crazy, calling niggas Sub-Saharan, all kind of shit. And it's like, yo, at what point do niggas have a conversation with them and check them motherfuckers? At what point
hold on.
Put them,
Hey, bro, you ever heard of Malcolm X? All right, you heard of Malcolm X, right? You heard of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, right?
That was before I got you. That was before I was born. So
I got you. Bro. I'm only asking, have you heard of these people, my guy? Have you heard of Dr. Khalid Muhammad?
I said yes.
Dr. Fred Cranswell. So we always had these conversations, and we still have them today. Tariq just debated Andrew Schultz. He debated Nick Fuentes, Jared Taylor. He debated these guys. These guys ain't dumb enough, like immigrants, to call in to get cooked. Like, they know to stay away. Like, their reputation to them is everything. Dr. Khalid Muhammad cooked Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity was begging to debate Farrakhan. And guess what? And then he debated Malik Zulu Sabaz, got killed again. So like, these guys be learning their lesson to stay away, and that's why they ignore us. They do what's called benign neglect. They're not dumb enough to come in our spaces and debate us, because we not only know our history, but we know American history, and to a certain point we know international history. But we have the greatest case because we are the victims. So like, the culprit can't win a debate versus the victim. So that's why, like, they really don't come to our spaces. Instead, they send the guy you just heard, Matt Nuclear. They go ahead and polish up an immigrant, give him the white supremacist talking points, and they become a representative of Nick Fuentes, Ben Shapiro. Now, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, he wouldn't debate that Angolan guy. Like, he made it his business. Said, nah, I'm only going to debate white supremacists. I don't want to debate none. He called them Uncle Toms. He said, pasteurized, homogenized. He said, nah, I'm not debating none of y'all. Send me your dad. Send me your boss. So we always been debating team white supremacy. They just got a little slicker. because again, when they get beat up, so badly, sometimes like their reputation goes with them. Sean Hannity, nobody take him seriously anymore after what Dr. Khalid Muhammad did to him and Malik Zulu Shabazz. Nobody take that guy seriously as a real debater. Like white supremacy ain't gonna lean on him. Well, debate Sean Hannity then. Nah, he's done. Like they wanted you to debate Ben Shapiro, and now Charlie Kirk's done. He's no longer in that. Nick Fuentes ain't get there yet. Like he's still dumb and he ain't sharpened his talking points yet. He's still just brutal and crazy. But but the Ben Shapiro's is who they would lean on as debate him. They're not throwing Nick Fuentes out like that. The Myron Gaines type guys, the Sneakos. Yeah, now look, remember Nick Fuentes was on Candace Owens, right? They had like a little minor debate, and he said Egyptians were not African, and she was like, "Wait a minute, aren't they in Africa?" He's like, "Yeah." And this is the same mistake that other guy did on Roland. What's the other white supremacist? Same thing. Hey, aren't they from Africa? Yeah. So how do you not African? Oh yeah. So what I meant was, what you meant was you said something stupid. Now Ben Shapiro, I don't think would make that claim. Like they're more educated class is not gonna make that claim. But bro, they don't come to our space because of that. They send who you keep hearing in our spaces.
Yeah, I get that, bro. I'm just saying, right? If you know that they sending niggas, why won't you go to the fucking people that's sending them? Like it's like you can battle.
Wait.
Hold on, can I say something, bro?
I got you, but that won't make any sense. But I got you. No. I'm saying you can finish, but that won't make any sense because you already led.
How you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me what I'm saying without even hearing? It ain't gonna make sense because you didn't even know. You didn't even let me get a sentence out.
Yes, because Elijah. Look.
FBA people read people's minds, or is it just you?
No,
like, come on,
no. We just understand the logic, and it's bad. So I'm gonna tell you this: Elijah Muhammad sent Malcolm X. White supremacists wanted to talk to Elijah Muhammad though, but they never could. So just because you want to go talk to somebody, don't mean you're gonna do it. You're gonna have to deal with their messenger. Okay, so it's like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. You just can't go talk to him. You got to get through Nori and Dr. Wesley and all the other guys. No. And white supremacy got the hierarchy too. You just can't talk to the Grand Wizard. You got to talk to who they send out. And they like to send out a lot of African compromised people. And the thing is, we do it because we want to discourage other Africans, compromised Africans, and any other compromised Caribbean and even FBAs who might be compromised to be sent by these white supremacists. We make an example out of them to say, I don't think this is what y'all want.
All right, so if I call somebody bush meat in a tether and say you fled, that's gonna stop me from doing that bullshit, especially if they get paid.
Okay, so now this is when we say bad faith. All right, so now at that point, my guy.
That was a question, bro.
I got it. And I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer by saying that's a bad faith question. Because if you, I remember a comedian on stage tried to disrespect. Who was that? Jamie Foxx. Tried to throw like a little slip. Now Jamie Foxx is chilling. It's an event for somebody else. I forgot. And like it went viral, but he's chilling, and a guy tried to throw a shot at Jamie Foxx's acting career in his movies. Now this guy is a bona fide comedian, bona fide roaster, all that shit. And this guy threw shots at him, and of course got embarrassed, got cooked on the fly. Tariq Nasheed has that personality where he's not going to be like Jesse Jackson. He's not going to be like Malcolm X, okay? And everybody knows his personality. He's willing to take it where you want to take it. So if you want to debate him and be on some petty shit, he's going to be on some petty shit. And he's funnier and he's more petty. So people know who they're calling in, my guy. They're not calling a hotline and at any moment it could be Dan, it could be UnbiasedRON, it could be Tariq. No, they know who they're calling. They're calling a guy who's good at roasting, and then they start roasting, The guy just now, the Angola guy, start throwing ad hominem attacks. He did that first. Tariq said, hey, let's have an academic debate. No personal shots. He agreed and he started throwing shots. We start losing. Right. So yeah, man, if look, some of us want to take it there. Some of us ain't going to get up and get in the back of the bus. Some of us going to knock your head off. And that's what he got with Tariq Nasheed when he called in. When anybody calls in and try to take it left with him, you're going to go left in. And it usually don't work out for them. Now I got you. You're different.
Can I say something real quick, Lee?
Yeah,
please?
You can. But all I'm saying, my boy, is that my friend, is that everybody's grown and people are supposed to be mature and smart. If I call in Andrew Schultz, he's a comedian, my guy. Even though he tried to get into politics, but at some point he's gonna throw jokes. I gotta be aware. I know I can't have 100% serious conversation with him. He's going to throw jokes at some point. So if you go call in Tariq Nasheed and think you could throw shots at homonyms and think he's going to be professional and take the high road, you're out your mind. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yo, for real, I almost forgot what I was gonna say, bro. You be going in, bro.
Because it wasn't that important. Yeah,
nah, you see what I'm saying, bro? How do you know that? How the fuck do you know what I'm gonna say?
Because I don't forget important stuff. But go ahead. God damn, you gotta calm down.
What I was just gonna say, bro, is that we don't disagree. By the way, like what you're saying is not opposed to what I'm talking about. I'm just like, if I'm having a bad faith question, you have a bad faith comparison because you compare a nation of Islam to what the FBA is doing. FBA is not a religious organization. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hold on. Hold on. No, wait. Yeah. Because again, man, you can't follow conversation, and what you're saying is illogical.
I heard exactly what you said.
Hold on. Yeah, because you got to demonstrate. Now, watch this. When you talk to me, you just can't say I can't do something and that just fly. I want you to demonstrate how my analogy with the Nation of Islam and with you saying we should tackle white supremacy, how did my analogy fall or fail? I'm listening.
Because one is an ethnic group, right? According to you, the FBA is an ethnic group. The other one is a religious organization.
But I wasn't comparing. See, now I know you didn't get the point I was making. I wasn't comparing.
Break it down, bro. Break it down.
Okay, good. I wasn't comparing an ethnic group to an organization. I was saying those people that are of that organization, they're from the same ethnic group as me. And they have the same talking points as all of us today that's acknowledging ourselves as FBA, ADOS, and Freeman, whatever else. We got the same talking points. Nothing changed because they relied on history. When Dr. Khalid Muhammad talked, he talked about politics and history to combat white supremacy. Malcolm X didn't change and nobody else changed. And with us, it ain't changing. All of our talking points and debates are coming down to politics and history. So I mentioned them to say, bro, we always been beating up on white supremacists. I said they were a little more. So I mentioned them to say how they embarrassed big names of white supremacy. So they got smart. They start to throw out who you see now with talking points of theirs. That's what they're doing now. So it ain't easy to get to them no more. They're not that dumb anymore. They're going to send you Myron Gaines. They're going to send you other people. They're not going to come out. Ben Shapiro's not going to spend 1 second debating nobody on these topics. Nobody of our ethnic group.
Now, why did you bring up the fact that, everybody can't talk to Elijah Muhammad? Everybody can't talk to Farrakhan. Everybody, we had to send people. Like, so who's the hierarchy? Who's the hierarchy?
Cool. No. I was comparing. Now, look at this. I was comparing. I got you. But I was comparing Farrakhan sending people to represent him the same way white supremacy hierarchy does that. FBAs were not in that comparison. That's why I say, bro, you gotta follow a conversation. I was comparing Farrakhan sending people to represent the Nation of Islam talking points and white supremacy sending people to represent their talking points. All I was saying is when somebody sends you a representative, you probably ain't gonna talk to the sender no time soon.
No,
that's why they sent you. That's why they sent you. Yeah, but I just explained that. I got you.
And you said
no. I never said we sent. Oh, no. See, that's what I'm trying to say.
But that's what I'm asking you about. I'm asking you about FBA,
Okay,
bro.
but hold on. You can't ask me about something that I wasn't even talking about. I never said we sent people. I said the Nation of Islam and white supremacy, and I was just showing you that I could take out this Islam and say Verizon. You're not going to talk to the CFO or CEO. You're going to talk to a representative of sales or something else. You're going to talk to marketing. You're going to talk to that guy. He's going to represent on behalf of Verizon. So white supremacy do the same thing. They don't send out. You're not going to talk to Donald Trump on a damn three-way call, my guy, in the debate. You're going to talk to one of his representatives. And at that point, he was sending out Charlie Kirk, some of us believe.
Yeah.
All right.
When are you going to talk to one of their representatives? When are you going to get into one of their representatives and go in for fucking 4 hours and have a bad name for them? What the fuck is a European tether? We don't even got a name for them. You know what I'm saying? And when is that going to happen?
Oh, yes, we do. So let me bring up.
Okay,
so let me bring up. No. You just lied.
Can you send me the link? Can you send me the link to that show, bro?
I got you.
Please.
Now you just lied again. I got you. Well, let me see this right here.
Bro? Where did I lie?
You just lied again. You said
if I made a mistake, that's one thing. But the same nigga lied.
No. You lied though, because you said we don't have a name for them.
What is it?
We call them the devil, the same name that Malcolm X called them.
Where in this fucking chat did you call anybody as fucking devil, bro? Like, come on, my nigga. What you call? Another nigga's turkey,
all right.
Bro.
Wait, did you?
Wait. Hey, like, come on, bro. That nigga's just joking right now, bro.
Now, look at this guy. Now, this is the guy who needs to take his medicine. First of all, did you watch the show yesterday?
Nigga, it's the same show every day, bro. Same exact show every day.
Hey, first of all, stop cursing. I'm gonna kick you off. You've been saying nigga for the longest, and you've been saying bitches and whatever else. Okay, yeah. So these guys always talk about self-resilience, self-knowledge, self-awareness, but have no self-control.
I didn't say none of that.
Okay,
so
cool. I got you. Did you watch the show yesterday? Yes or no?
Matter of fact, I missed you. It was off when I because I heard you over there with Taz and them. I heard you. I think
no. Yeah, no, but I know my show.
I'm
Okay.
trying to, bro, when you ask a question, you never let nobody answer the question, bro.
Bro, it's a yes or no. It's a yes or no question.
Yes or no answer. My niggas intellectuals over here, bro. Everything's not a yes or no answer. But I ask you a question. You gotta go 10 minutes and 15 goddamn minutes over everything.
Hey,
you ask me a question, you won't even let me get 10 seconds, bro. What kind of conversation is this? What are you talking about? Medicine? You definitely need medicine. You just asked me a question. You said, why don't we talk about white people? Well, I'm guessing you're talking about suspected white supremacists. I said, I'm answering that question. Did you see my show yesterday? You just said, when did we do it, nigga? It was yesterday. I'm gonna call you nigga. It was yesterday we did it. Okay? The thumbnail is literally got Karen in it. It says Karen. The show is called Karen is pro ICE protesters, and Karen historically has been anti civil rights protesters. So, dude, you took the worst time in your life to tell me, when do I get on the white T-man? Yesterday. You got bad luck. One show? How many shows you got on? How many shows you do this week, my nigga? Come on, bro.
Why? Okay, see,
look. Your logic is slow, brother.
I got you. But what I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna do the bidding of you. If you feel a certain way about white tea people, then you call in their shows. You don't call in my show complaining about them. You do what you're telling me to do. Why don't you call in the Nick Fuentes show and complain about them? That's what you want to do. I'm not gonna do your bidding.
I didn't bring them up, nigga. I called you to ask you about FBA. You brought them up, bro.
Okay.
You're the one that came
right,
and went over here and twisted and under, like, you're the one, bro. I asked you one thing, and you went off in 100 directions. And you're not even addressing what I'm talking about, and then you saying it's me. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
you might need drugs, bro. You might need some drugs, bro.
I get it. You have an issue with analogies, and I get it. Now, listen. I answered all your questions. What question do you think you asked me about FBA? I did not answer. Which one?
I say, yo, bro, what the hell does immigrants have to do with African and Black Americans delineating, bro? What do they have to do with it, bro? You talking about, the white supremacy putting them up in front of them and Yo, so you can knock
Is
down
that
100.
wait,
Yo, you
is
can
that
knock.
true or
Yo,
false?
let me finish, bro.
Wait,
That's his fault. That's a fact. That's possibly it's a fact. Yo, matter of fact, it is a fact. Candace Owens in them. That's a
okay.
fact, right?
So I
But
answered your question.
hold on. Let me complete my
Oh my
thought, though.
God. Oh my
Yo,
God.
bro, are you trying to get to a point, or you just trying to think what you think, and because you know everything already? But when I ask you a question, you going off in 100 directions. Yo, you knock down Candace Owens, guess what? The boss is still gonna be there. You knock down this Haitian kid, whatever, that's on the phone. You can knock down 100,000 of them. The boss is
Oh,
still
that's
in
your
the
logic?
background, bro.
That's your
The boss
logic?
is still in the. That's your logic, because that's what you just said. You said they sending them. You said they the ones that's sending them. You said that,
So
bro.
who's the
So not all of them. So
who's
get
the
all of them out the way. You still got to deal with the boss,
so
bro. When's niggas gonna
so
start
who's
dealing with the boss, bro?
who's the boss
We
of
know
white
who the boss is. The
supremacy?
boss. Yo,
Who's the
that's what we
boss?
supposed to be talking about. That's what the fuck we supposed to
No,
be talking
you
about instead of
you
arguing.
said that.
Instead of
No.
calling niggas terrible.
Who
Yo,
who is
yo,
the wait?
yo,
Dude.
hold on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who's sitting at Fuentes? Who sit Candace Owens? You know who that is? You know
No,
who sit Candace Owens?
bro, I'm
Yo,
asking you, who is the boss of white supremacy?
I don't even think it's a boss like that, bro. What are you laughing at?
so
What are you laughing at?
you trying to send me on a dummy mission?
Nah, what I'm trying to say is obviously Candace Owens. Somebody sit Candace Owens, bro. Somebody sit Candace Owens. It's not one
Who?
person. It ain't no one
Who
boss. It would be an
who sent her?
organization, if anything.
Who
It would
sent
be an
her?
organization, if anything.
Who
Yo, she
sent her?
comes from Traeger Youth. She comes from Traeger Youth. You
Bro,
ever
I'm
heard of Traeger
asking you
Youth?
who
I
bro,
just said that.
you're
Traeger Youth.
oh my
Traeger Youth. You ever heard of Traeger Youth?
okay. So now how do you know he
Traeger
sent her?
Youth, bro.
You got the
Because that's
memo
what
by
she
mistake?
started. Yo, Traeger Youth is an
Oh my.
organization, bro. Traeger Youth. I'm answering your question, but
Who's
it's
the
like you just want
boss?
to think what you
Give
think.
me who's the boss of that organization?
My nigga, I forget the guy's name, bro. I know I can see his
All
thing, but I
right,
forget the
then
guy's
give
name.
me names then. Give me names. Don't
But
just tell
why
me go
though?
after
But why?
some
But
invisible
why though?
boss. Give me some names.
I didn't tell you, yo, but why though? Why do you need his name for? You don't know?
Because you just
You don't
know.
fucking know, nigga?
I don't
You
know
talking
these I
about, yo,
don't
they
know
keep
these fiction.
sending, they
Yeah.
sending them at
I
us.
don't
They
I
sending them
don't
at
know
what fucking
these.
day. You asking me what day is.
Yeah, because you said there's a boss out there. There's a white supremacy boss. I said, give me his name, and I'll go get him.
Yo, you know
And
why I said,
then
you
you
know
don't
why I
then
said that though?
then you don't
You know
have
why
the
I said that?
name.
Because you said somebody's getting sent.
Name,
You said they sending these people. So there's imaginary
figuratively.
motherfuckers sending these
Okay,
people. Figurative.
okay.
All right, so
So
when you
so
want
again,
figurative, so you want a literal boss, or what y'all
yeah,
figurative?
yeah. No,
See, that
no.
don't make sense, bro. That
When
don't
I
make
said
sense.
that, okay, I got you, bro. Listen, you got to stop, man. When I said that, that's why I said you don't understand logic and you don't understand conversation. What's already understood don't need to be explained. When people use an analogy, that's common in conversation. Like the person got it. When people use figurative language, the person usually gets it. Okay, you're hyper as hell, my guy. You always been hyper. You call in. You're never calm. I'm calm right now, and sometimes I'm hyper. Sometimes I'm sleepy. But I show different sides of myself. Right now I'm calm. You only show one side. Hyper. That's why I say, bro, take your medicine. I never seen you calm before. This could be the first night you're calm. Okay, so when I say they sent them, I clearly said white supremacy. So when I say white supremacy sent somebody, there's no person named white supremacy, and there's no person who represents the entirety of white supremacy. So when I said white supremacy sent them, that is the epitome of figurative language. You started to direct me towards people. So you're being literal. You are being literal. You're directing me toward physical people. Why don't I talk to this person, that person, this person? And then you said bosses. I said, well, who's the boss? Okay, maybe I'll try to reach out to him. And then the boss didn't exist. Some Wizard of Oz type shit. You're tricking me. You try to send me on a dummy mission. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing, my guy?
You listen to yourself, bro. You the one that brought up an imaginary boss, bro. You the one that brought up an imaginary. That's not my bad. That's not the right word. Imaginary's not the right word. But you said like
so what?
You know what
So
I mean?
how
But
do
you
we
said
move
white
on?
supremacy.
Okay,
No,
I
but
said what I
this how
said.
we
You
move
said
on.
what you said.
This
Yeah,
how
this
we-
is good. God
this how
damn,
we
you want to
move
talk in
on.
circles, man?
My whole point is this, right? And the reason why I fought you, this is all I wanted to know. Because when you delineate, right, to make it official, immigrants ain't gonna have shit to do with that, bro. You're gonna have to holler at the institution. And who runs the institution over here?
But that's what we're doing, though. No, but
But
hold on.
where though? Where, bro? Where, bro?
Again.
Because like how can I be down?
Okay,
How
now,
can I make
well,
this shit official?
no. You want to be down? You go play Brandy's song. No, we don't
Nah,
need you
you know
down
what I mean.
to be
Now you
efficient.
playing like you don't understand.
I
Now you
got you.
playing like you don't
I got
understand
you.
English. You Black American, you don't understand how we
Are you
talk. Come on, man.
still down Tupac? You can play that song with John B. All right, but no, we don't need your help. We got it. And let me tell
He
you
got
that.
it. Nigga, according to you, part of the ethnic group. What are you talking about, bro?
Hey, bro,
What are you
listen,
talking about, man? He got
listen.
it.
Well,
How the fuck I don't got it?
if you're
How the
part
hell
of
I
the
got it?
ethnic, he just pops in and talks over what he. This is the epitome of a guy who wants to talk and have a chaotic, toxic environment, dude. As I'm talking, you gotta wait. You dig? Okay. Are you waiting? We never said we need immigrant participation to delineate. So now you claim you're from the ethnic group and you should know our ethnic group talking points. We never said we need immigrants' involvement to delineate. Delineate is something 100% we're doing. Okay, brother, do you know what delineate means?
My understanding, yes. It means
Okay,
to
tell me.
draw a line. To draw a line. You
Okay,
know what I'm saying?
okay,
To
wait.
make one side one thing
Right,
and
right.
another side another.
No, 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 no,
Is
no,
that
no,
right?
no, 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 no. That's wrong. That's wrong. The
Okay, break
first
it down,
definition.
bro. Like I'm
Okay,
not trying to battle with
okay.
you, my nigga. Like,
I
yo,
understand you're not. Who said you are? Just like, who said you are, man?
break it down.
No. Okay, the first part. No. Walk. I want you to participate with me. Walk with me.
Listen,
Delineate
my guy.
means drawing. It means yes, it's an action. You're drawing a line. You got that right. Who's
Did I just
drawing
say
the
that? Okay.
line? Okay, all right. You're right. The second part was ass. So who's drawing the line? FBAs or immigrants or white supremacists?
Black Americans.
Right. So
According
I
to
didn't
you, right?
hear. Okay, so I'm talking. He still goes again. Right. So we didn't need nobody's involvement to draw the line. We can just draw the line ourselves, which we did already. We drew the line. We said we're FBA's, Adolf, Solman, Friedman. We drew the line is already drawn. Okay. Now, are you familiar with disaggregation? That comes next. Are you familiar with that?
Hold on. Yo, hold on, bro. I'm at work, so I'm muting back and forth. You know what I'm trying to say?
I got you. Because I hear you meeting. I hear you meeting. Are you familiar with disaggregation?
Actually, no. I know
Okay.
Claude Anderson spoke
Oh
about
no! Wait!
aggregating.
Hold on!
But
No! Hold
I can guess what it means because I know what aggregating means. So
on!
disaggregating would
No!
mean to break it up,
Okay,
right?
listen. Break what up? Break what up?
Whatever we're doing, if we're doing something together, right,
Okay.
and it's
Stop
getting
guessing. Okay,
together,
stop guessing.
you know
Stop
what I'm
guessing.
trying to
Stop
say?
guessing. Right.
Right,
No, I
all
don't.
right.
So stop guessing. I don't know what you're about to say and what you're trying to say. Stop. You need to get. I can tell you what it means. In this sense, in a social science sense, it means something, my guy. All right. So now, because we just say delineate, we just say that. It just means draw a line. But the context in which we use it, people know what we mean. So that means that we don't have to like explain what it means and who we're delineating from. Once we say it, it's already understood. I said earlier, what's already explained don't need. I mean, what's already understood don't need to be explained. So when we say delineate, it's already understood what it means. When we say disaggregate, we know what it means. Now, after disaggregation, you know what comes next? You know
Put
what
me
comes
on.
next after that? Explicit representation. So it's 3 stages, and none of that takes an immigrant involvement participation. That's why I say you just lied. So you've been on
No,
this phone. Hold on.
no,
It's
I say,
okay. It's okay. Okay. So yeah. So we don't draw a line for other people. We draw a line for ourselves, and that line comes with some things. It comes with demands. It comes with a self identification for the ethnic group. So when we say a word to describe us, there's no confusion. People know who that group is speaking. When we say the Jewish community, there's no confusion. When we say the LGBTQIA community, there's no confusion who that is. If you say the Asian community, there's no confusion. So we don't want any confusion when we say a term to represent our lineage. We don't want no confusion. We don't want somebody to say, "Are you talking about Nigeria?" No. See, that's confusion. Are you talking about Trinidad? No. See, that's confusion. Okay, so when we say something about ourselves for whatever context. We don't want it to be confused, okay, with somebody else. Just like Jewish people, you're not thinking about Somalians, or you're not thinking about Puerto Ricans. You know exactly who's the party. Asians, you know, or in Chinese, you know who the party is, right? There's no confusion. You say immigrants, nobody confuses that for a citizen, okay? So with our language to identify ourselves, to explain ourselves, we want it to be clear and away from confusion as it once was before.
I got you, bro. And that's my thing. I'm not trying to say that immigrants have anything to do with it. I'm asking you, why the hell the FBA be into it with immigrants every goddamn day, especially if they gotta
Okay,
holler at.
so
Yo,
I
bro,
just
I'm not
answered
even
that
done.
question.
Come
No,
on,
no,
my
no,
nigga.
because you,
I'm not even done. I don't even know if it's a
no,
question or if it's a statement if I'm not done, bro. Yo, hold
I'm
on,
gonna mute
bro.
you.
Are you in a quote, my nigga? Are you in a quote,
Yeah,
bro?
okay. I don't know, but it sounds like you are. Dude, you asked a question and you're just gonna whine afterwards, man. I'm trying to save you from the whining. You're yelling, first of all, you're yelling. You're annoying people. People are leaving. You're yelling. So I'm trying to end this
Yeah.
short so you don't, so people, I am a content creator, and the goal is to create content and have people listen to the content. You feel me?
Well, they leaving because you
So,
sound crazy, bro. They leaving because you
I,
slow, and they believe.
okay, I gotta mute you. Cause that voice, man. You asked a question.
They leaving because they
Why?
believe in you,
Okay.
and you struggling.
Now look. Okay, I got you. You call me. I never call you, by the way, but you call me, and I'm struggling. And any platform you're associated with, I do better than all of them with less subscribers. So and I got
Nigga, I'm
so
associated with real life, nigga.
okay.
Fuck your platform, nigga.
But you called in the platform. So is this real life or this a
Because
platform?
nigga, you posted it. You posted the chat, nigga. You told niggas to pull
Okay.
up. So why you moving? Why
Okay.
you moving niggas?
So okay. So this is real life then, I guess, right? Yeah, exactly. So this ain't make believe all of a sudden. You called in a social media platform. You're on here in real life. And then you ask, why do we talk about immigrants, bro? You could stop right there. Like anything else is just unnecessary.
Yo, bro, you have to go to America to delineate officially, right?
Bro.
You know that, right?
Okay, I'm going to look. I'm trying to refrain from. I'm okay. All right. We put you. I'll put you in the waiting room, because he's still cursing and things. Okay, so I just answered that question earlier, but again, people that behave like this, family, I know for a fact have ADHD. I know for a fact he's been diagnosed in his school early. Okay, wait. I know for a fact he's been diagnosed for ADHD. Okay, he need to go take his medicine. Like I said, I was not playing. Yeah, Ritalin, Adderall, all that stuff. He need to go take that. Sit down. Go. Yeah. So he got to go take that. I was not joking when I said that. All right. So I'm trying to think. I've been sitting here at the Chipotle thing, but I think I want pizza, so I'm gonna get out of here. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna get pizza instead. Now, I already answered that question. He's repeating the conversation over and over and over because he can't follow conversation. I just said, my guy, we're talking to who calls in our spaces. I didn't go seek you just now. You called in. Your name was Pan-Nigerian before. Now you're Pan-Black American Nigerian. Whatever. It's a long, long name. It's too long. Pause. It's too long. All right. You need to shorten it. Why? Let me help you shorten it. Okay. You don't gotta say Pan-Nigerian. That's short and sweet. You don't gotta say Pan-Black American Nigerian. I'll help you out. You just said you're a mix. Well, you have both Nigerian and American. There you go. You are a Nigerian American. That's all. The other stuff is unnecessary. We're going to save you some time. It's a tongue twister. So, pause. You are Nigerian American. That's all. It's real simple, short and sweet. Now, I didn't seek you out, and Tariq Nasheed doesn't seek out those people, and Dennis Sperling, whoever else is out there, Afro-Elite, they don't seek out nobody. We just press live and start talking about whatever we want to talk about that involves us. If we talk about White T Man, it's because he's involved himself in our business. Okay. in a way. If we're talking about ICE, that's because that's evolving us in a way. If we're talking about illegals, because we are affected by illegals, okay? We are affected by mass immigration, period, but definitely by illegals for sure. All right. Now, hold on, because I don't want you to talk over me, so I put you in the waiting room. Hold on, I'm going to put you back on. I don't want you talking over me. So we are going to talk about what we believe affects us, our daily lives in every which way, fashion, shape, form. All right. You're not going to dictate to us what's important to us. We're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about, and we normally be right on the money. Okay. We're not going to talk about, let's say, what's going on in China right now. You know, they got the inside thing, the army was like, the intel was like selling them out, whatever. That got nothing to do with me. They're over here in America. Now, on some more gossip tip, I might talk about that. But that's not what my channel is really about, like gossip like that. Now, we're bored. We could swing over there, but I don't want to talk about that. Okay, that don't directly involve FBAs in no way, shape, form. Now, if that's leading to a war, then we're going to talk about it. You feel me? A war with America. But yeah, so that's something totally different. But we're going to talk about things that affect us, whether you disagree or don't. Now, immigrants like yourself, because you said you're half immigrant, half citizen. So immigrants like yourself call in to our spaces, okay? And you talk about you bring up FBA. You could have talked about white T man. You could say, hey man, this white T man, he off the hook, man. No justice, no peace ass whitey man. No, you decided to talk about FBA and immigrants. You could have led with the white T man, and we could have talked about white supremacy, systemic racism. I'd have been right there with you, exposing it. But nope, you wanted to talk about immigrants and the FBA, and that's what we're talking about. We just talked about white supremacy the other day. There's no way around white supremacy. So we're always talking about white supremacy, even when we talk about immigrants. I explained that. I said white supremacy are using immigrants and immigration as pawns to dilute and sabotage and undermine FBA. I said that. So even when we talk about immigrants, we're talking about white supremacy, systemic racism. Now, call back in. I hope you heard the answer and talk about something else or ask a different question. Okay, but you're asking the same questions, you're getting the answer. First, I give you a short answer. You act like that don't work. And then I give you a longer answer, and you get mad that the answer is longer. It seems like you're not for either one. But make a mistake. You and them calling our spaces and talk to us, and we oblige. We're not saying they can't. They could, and they don't have to talk about tether stuff. They could talk about regular stuff when they call in. Hey, what do you think about this policy? So and so pushing this policy. This rare happened with the Epstein files. You could have called in and said something about the Epstein files. You didn't want to. You called in and talked about immigrants and FBA. You talked about what we talk about, get mad when we talk about it. You talked about what we talk about and get mad when we talk about it. You didn't bring up nothing different. You talked about what we talk about. And then gaslit yourself. You could have brought up the Epstein files. We could have talked about everybody named who's involved and had fun. And we could have been conspiracy theorizing. We could have been conspiracy theorizing the whole time. Okay, now, what he did not do was call that Angolan guy out. Now, he did all that wolfing and crying about us chewing up an immigrant who was totally disrespectful to the lineage. He didn't call him out. He didn't say, yo, let me just first say this, man. Yo, that Angola tether was, man, he was off the hook, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like I'm glad Tariq tore him one because he deserved it. He was very disrespectful. He didn't say that. He was protecting that disrespectful immigrant. Then he comes over here and says his name is Pan-Nigerian, what what do you call himself? Pan grassroots Adolf, Nigerian, white supremacist, immigrant, whatever he calls himself. American. That was a long name, my guy. That was a long name. Okay. And no, we don't respect that name you gave yourself. It's long and goofy, bro. You're just Nigerian American, bro. It's okay. Not wrong being proud of, like, not wrong with being proud of where you're from. Nobody's ever gonna say you should not be proud of where you're from. You should be proud of where you're from. Okay. So like I said, come, you can click the link and come back on and respond to what I said or ask a different question. But asking the same question over and over and over is boring. Okay. Wait, let that go. It's dirty. Let that go. It's dirty. Go. I'm about to get some coffee. And then I'm so yeah. So now I'm saying call in and talk your talk. Now another thing they can't do, which just watch. None of them could call in and just talk. All of them call in and they have to ask me a question. So I'm like, dude, you want to ask me a question or do you want to talk? If you want to talk, don't ask me a question. Go in and ask a question when you're done. But if you ask me a question in the midst of your talking of your lecture, I'm going to stop you because I want to answer. I don't want you to ask me a question and then be talking so long afterwards, I forget your question. Come over here. Get out of here. Yeah. So that's that. And your voice is very annoying, my guy. People ain't feeling that. Now, hold on. Yeah, so we're not gonna let you dictate what we talk about in our spaces, my guy. Especially when people call in to talk about these things. Yeah, so if an immigrant calls in and he want to talk about immigration or things that involve immigrants, we're gonna talk about it. But the name of the channel is clear. Come over here. FBA News and Updates. We're gonna talk about FBA News. We're gonna talk about FBA updates. Okay, that's what we're gonna talk about. And it just so happened that in our news, it be immigrants be in the news. So we're gonna talk about immigrants in the news. I got a hella videos to share and show involving illegals. Yeah, but illegals, like nobody's gonna deny that illegals are a complete threat to our country in every way, shape, form. Okay, they're a threat to our security. They're a threat to our economy. They're a threat to our socialness. Because they're undocumented. They're a burden on the economy. They have to live a criminal life because they're illegal. What can they do legally? If you're here illegal, if you drive, you're driving illegally. If you're working illegally. You did. What comes out of that? That's why it's a burden on our society. Go re-up your H-1B. Go re-up your spot. Get another sponsor. Go if you're an evacuee and your country is back to normal. Go, you know what I mean? Go back to your country. And if you are a refugee, if you're asylee, then wait for your, status to be a refugee. And if that is revoked, you gotta go back to your damn country. Real simple. And if it's approved, then you're gonna be here for like 10 years until your political ordeal in your country goes away. You gotta go back. real simple. I don't see nothing wrong with that. That's normal. So I think we read on the news the other day that Canada had just deported like 300 something Nigerians for whatever reason. I don't know that. I think for criminal stuff, whatever. I don't know the exact detail of every last one of them. But so my point is deportation is normal in countries when they have immigrants living there. Yeah, so if you are illegal, you definitely got to go. Like I said, um, nobody could track you. Nobody could track your. Nobody could track you, and I'm not comfortable with that. Something happened to me, I want to hold you accountable. Like if you scam me, I want to prosecute you. But I'm gonna prosecute you if you ain't documented. I mean, it's a flat out L. You feel me? So I guess his boss fired him because my man was calling in and then he stopped calling in. Or maybe he's but I want Keep It Touchy to call in. Oh yeah, so I called